Good day to you passengers, I'm Colonel Failure and this is Transport Fever. Coming into the port now is our recently introduced oil tanker. I am running at moderately high speed here because this thing doesn't exactly, it doesn't exactly zip along. It is now, well, we're in the 6th year since I bought the vessel, and this is the first time it's actually arrived at a dock. Yeah, it's not quick. It really isn't quick. But it arriving here now, like this, and I'm going to slow it down as soon as it's done so. There we go. Come on, just. As soon as it stops, it's going to make something marvellous happen. There we go. Something marvellous will now have happened over on the other side of the Atlantic. Right. The oil tanker in question is picking up over here from Port Nelson. Yep, nothing waiting currently. Well, I wouldn't expect so yet because the magic is only just beginning to happen. And the magic in question is right here. Historically, this particular depot has only been receiving fuel from... I'm calling it a depot, it's not a depot, right? But it's a depot, okay? From the refinery has been receiving fuel that will head to Port Nelson itself, which is right over there. But now that that tanker has made its first stop, all of a sudden it will start receiving fuel that is going to head back in the other direction, which is the, what's the line called here? The crude oil line, right? Any second now, it's going to start happening. It's going to start delivering any second, pretty much any time now. More or less, we're at April, okay, right? More or less, any time it will start pumping out fuel to go back on the crude oil line. You can tell I've not checked how long this is going to take because I'd anticipated it happening by now. Maybe if we up the tempo, it will happen. Ta-da! There we are. See, you saw it. You saw it happen. Yes, vindicated am I. Basically, what's going on here, I'm going to illustrate with the newly rediscovered cursor, is the crude oil line runs from this chap here, this truck stop here, up to there. So from the well to the refinery goes crude oil, here, turns it into fuel, and some of the fuel goes this way, and now it kind of goes, oh yeah, there's a connecting line over here that will take said crude oil, said fuel out to the docks. And so now the trucks on their return leg will take fuel back with them. Whereupon they will, good zoom in there, whereupon they will deposit it at this here station. I can't come up with a naming convention I like. This truck stop will receive, here's some now, said fuel before it's picked up by the shuttle service. There we go. See, that just happened. So we make money now on both legs of the journey using the crude oil line, and that is, frankly, living the dream. So stay tuned because I'm going to live the dream even more in this episode. So here we find ourselves following the snappily named Road Vehicle 47, as it is living the dream, helping me to dream big and live that dream. That is big. So it's currently transporting crude oil up to the refinery stop here, and it will take fuel back in the other direction. This is all good, but I want to kick things into even higher gear. Now, I'm going to zip around the map a bit here, so, brace yourselves a little bit. So Port Nelson, as we discussed in the last episode, thank you, give me the thing I want. 35 of 37 for fuel delivery this year, which basically means it's pretty much maxed out. Now, if you imagine Tromsø, and if someone wants to point me at a pronunciation guide, I will endeavour to pronounce it correctly, has a demand of 66 fuel. Lovely. Now, that means that when this chap here completes its transatlantic voyage, as it will do after covering all of that distance, it will then pick up as much fuel as is waiting and hoik it back across the Atlantic, whereupon it will be turned into cash. Now, given that it's taken 6 years to get to its first kind of depot, its first port to drop off, that's a long old time to wait. Now, the good news is it only costs around the 11,000 per year to keep running. Yeah, is that what I meant to say? Is it 11,000? 1,100? No, it's 11,000. I'm pretty sure of it. We'll check, just briefly. I won't do the big crossing the Atlantic gag again. I'll spare you that. Where are we? Running costs 130,000 a year. So, you know, it's creeping up gradually. But its payoff is just over 2 million. Right? So it might take 3 to 4 years it turns around. I have played forward from this point, so I've already kind of done a risk assessment in terms of the cost of the thing. But once every 3 or 4 years, it drops off and it makes 4 million every time, 2 million every time it does so. So it more than doubles its running costs. Perfect. This is exactly what we want to see. So today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and knock out a very swift second port using the same thinking. And because I want to start developing the British Isles in the near future, Edinburgh is probably my best bet for the next target. Let's have a quick look. So here's the Edinburgh industrial area, which is what demands fuel in the first place. It's got a demand of 50. Not a brilliant amount, but it's satisfactory. So this is where we're going to go. I've got 1.3 million in the bank. You would think that I could make this work. And you'd be right, because I'm going to give it a jolly good try. So basically, this is you can see this as a long-term investment, because the payoff is not fast, but it does pay off, and you can just let it, trundle on, getting on with business and making you a couple of million every few years. That's quite all right. 215 grand for that. That's okay. And then we'll wiggle this old road here all the way up where we need it. Let's try medium. Let's be sporty. Of course, it's going to try and charge me £500,000 for doing this. I mean, I'd rather it didn't. Now the tunnel actually may work out cheaper, so we can get a tunnel in there for 400 grand. Doesn't leave me anywhere to place the depot at that end. That's an issue. So let's look at alternatives here. So that gets us up the hill a bit. Let's turn on for as much as the contour lines aren't really going to help, because it's the transition between the different plateaus that is the expensive bit. And so if I went like that, that's quite cheap. All right, okay, because I'm not monkeying around with the ground too much. All right, well let's invest 5 grand in that, okay, because it's going generally in the sort of direction we want. How much are you going to cost me to that? 121. So we're up to 126. All right. And if you can do, you see, that's another 10 grand. Okay, 130,000 all in. It's not the most glamorous of roads, but I believe that may be the way that many road builders may have chosen to build this particular road. Certainly this road builder chose to build it that way, and that's a good thing. So we now need to think of truck stops. Now then, you might say, well, if it's going to take 3 years before it gets here, why not, give it a little bit of time before you actually put trucks on the thing? No. As is all important, getting the trucks set up early, or rather getting the full array of lines in motion as quickly as possible is critical to actually getting the line running. So we're going to stick it there, which gives it great coverage on the industrial setup. Is it any worse? Let's zoom out a touch. So that gets me that lot. Go around there. Oh, it gets me more. We might as well fulfill as much demand as possible. It's just around the corner. And there's the Mac. We want the Mac. The Mac's good. Yes, there you go. That's the right word. Right. Okay. Still got 1.2 million. Good. Try and force another truck stop to bow to my will. And I think doing it on this second curve of the contoury stuff is probably going to be I was about to say it's going to be the easiest. I doubt that it's going to be easy in any way at all. Although 50 grand, that's not so bad. It puts a really ugly hump in the road, though. We've still got dock coverage. I mean, I'm not mad keen on that lump. What about the other side? It's chucking me some terrain alignment collage there, but I would expect nothing else. That's in range. Come on, give me something around the 50, 60 grand mark that doesn't look horrible. With too much slope. 80. It'll do me 80 over there, or I can get something uglier for 50-ish here. How much do we actually care? Do we just want to get it placed and then, you know, celebrate the profits as they come in? I think that answers that question. And it's nothing that your friend and mine, the tree gun, cannot fix. Tree gun. Yeah. Conceal the fact that this is really ugly. I love that this is free. It's one of the best features ever made. Free trees. Oh, yeah, look at that. That looks terrific. Right, it's hidden in a woody copse. I don't know if copses come in any other flavour than woody. Oh, look at that, see? And because I'm feeling sporty, I'm going to put a rock in. There. Good, right, smashing. So that now looks marvellous. And we'll set up the route. From Edinburgh Central to Edinburgh Transfer. It's not very long, so 2 should do this one. EDI is the traditional Edinburgh name, and this is going to be fuel. I'm going to need a depot of some description, and I'll build that halfway down this spinal road here, just to give it a little bit broader reach than it might otherwise have. Right, give me freight. What's the latest and greatest we've got over here? The Benz. Splendid. Right, 2, please. And assign that to EDI fuel. And then click on EDI fuels. Oh, no, there we go. Edinburgh, which is, what am I looking for here? What am I looking for, transfer or central? That's just a depot. I'm not interested. Central, right. I'd say central probably isn't the right name. Anyway, full load, unlimited. Get to work, off you go. Smashing. So we'll wait for that to full load, but that should be absolutely fine. And we will now buy a ship to place on said route. That sounds safe. Coming out of Portsmouth in that way that they so frequently do. It's another Vandal, 780 grand. Let's set up the route first. Well, actually, I'm paused, so it doesn't really make much difference. Right, there we go. That's don't need that. You sit over there, look magnificent in your enormous window while we set up the other route. New line. Here we go. Now, I mean, the reason for doing this is once the shuttle service starts to really fill the dock with oil waiting for the tanker to get in for the first time, it all stops producing. So the goal here is to keep the production level high. In fact, let's stick with PRN as our destination, fuel bulk. So the goal is to keep it flowing all year round, so that profits are slightly more predictable. There you go. Right, good, that's assigned. And the last thing I want to do is, because this is the Edinburgh port, is we'll just call this Port of Edinburgh. There we go. See? Amazing. Good. Let's watch this fella coming out of the shipyard, which it seems to be, despite being on pause, it's so eager to show its face to the world. It needs a name. Oh, I've got a list of names somewhere, of approved names. So we'll just we'll go with the CMS. Oh, I've been using CFS, haven't I? The Colonel Failure Ship. This is a CMS, the Colonel's Merchant Ship bulldozer. There we are. Rockin', right, where are you oh yes, yeah, it did this last time as well. It's decided that the fastest route up to Edinburgh is to actually go around the North Sea and then hit it from the north. Fair enough, I'm not going to argue with it. So there we go. So that's two lords, that's not a real word. That's two ships now doing their thing. And as you can see, this is already starting to fill up. And once I upgrade these chaps to be the new Mac, then we should be pretty golden for getting transportation rattling along nicely. We'll do that. Sit at 25%. Look at the vehicles. Off you go. We might as well. No, they're too young. Unless I didn't say yes. Yeah, you got to say yes. And then we need to do the same thing on. What are you? You're a crude oil line. We want to replace you as well. Set it to the Mac. Yes. 25%. Yes. Vehicles. And then we'll wait till that's done. There we go. So that one's updated already. Good. Now, have I got too many going into Port Nelson? Because the Mac is also it's a little bit faster than these traction engines. But only by like a mile per hour. Oh, I said I was going to switch back to kilometres. I'll do it next time, I promise. We might as well replace these as well, because these chaps are probably aging a little. And don't worry, we're going to look at trains in a minute, all right? So, you know, if you like a bit of train action, brace yourselves. Let's switch you right there. No, you're carrying fuel, not you. You're fueled, so are you, and you. Oh, really? Nobody wants... there we go. We'll stick you onto the crude oil line. Just because the Mac will deliver at a much increased pace and capacity as well. I could probably take two off that line, but I'm just going to go with one right now. Should be enough. Have we got that moving? Yes, we have. Right, so we'll keep an eye on that. In fact, this first one's already done. Hooray! Those of you who pointed out that I hadn't switched other stuff back, I have now. It's all good here. Everything is fine. But thank you for pointing that out. I like the fact that the commenters attempt to keep me on my toes. As much as that's a tall order, the attempt is appreciated. Right, so we've got a little bit of that left going on. Good show. Right, let's bring up the route profitability chart here. One of my personal favourites, and I'm sure it's one of yours too. The North American Intercity, since why is there 4 trains on? I'm sure I sacked one. Or was there 4 after I'd sacked one? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. North American vehicles. Yes, I have. I've sacked one. Okay, fine. As you can see, it's now kicking along with a very handsome 1.8 million profit this year. But the European mainline, running the same number of trains, arguably a little bit older, is performing in a slightly lackluster fashion. So I'm going to employ the same kind of logic over there. Now, if we look at the old bank balance here, you can see that in a reasonably good year, we're bringing in close to, well, we're over 2 million in profit. If you cancel out the kind of 300 grand construction costs, well, 500,000 construction costs we've got going on there. So 2 million coming in a year means that for a train such as one of these, given their price of like 7-8 million, I'm going to have to wait for like 4 or 5 years before they make the cash. Fortunately, my loan is at 9 million, and my buddy, the bank manager, he'll quite happily lend me 30 million at the moment, which is awfully decent of him. Even if I say so, you know, he's a good lad, and frankly ought to be applauded for his fine public service. So I can upgrade these now. What I can't do, because I haven't got the cash, so I can't upgrade all 3 of them. But we can certainly make progress. And the whole point of this is to try and expedite a little bit more profit out of lines that are getting held up by these really quite slow trains. Let's have a look. What are you doing here? So, I mean, you know, it's barely pushing 30 miles an hour. I imagine it will hit 40 mile an hour by the time it gets there. So that's probably, what, about 70 kilometers an hour? it's not exactly quick. And as such, we need to really sort that out. In fact, 30 is 50. 30 is 30 miles per hour. I will get this sentence out. Is 50 kilometers an hour. We can do better, friends. We can do better. So let's find me a depot. I want to get priced up, and you can tell that I'm not really hitting the mark, given by the amount of road traffic we've got going on. So what I want is something genuinely speedy as a replacement for these dudes, and I maybe retire one in the process. Let's have a look at what we've got available in the locomotive section. Now, the Flying Scotsman is either out already or it's not. Hold on, what was that beep beep? No, that's a tram. I have a touchy relationship with trams. So we've got this very German number here going on, or its equally German equivalent, 43 miles per hour. They feel like goods trains to me. I want to get one, but it's not worth it. Now, the 3.5 will do 62. But I know for a fact that the Flying Scotsman will do 75. And therefore, it's the better train. Or it's the more modern. I fear that I'm going to miss using several of these locomotives, but fortunately they never retire. So when money is no longer an object, I might put some of these slower services into play and see where it gets me. So, just because we miss it first time around doesn't mean we're going to permanently miss it. Shall I hold on for the Scotsman? Because, where are we? 1917. I think it's pretty soon. It's in the next year or two that it turns up. But a 3.5 is, what? Let's call it 2.5 million. And then you're going to want a good shake of passengers. So the 3-axle is suitable for that. So what are we looking at? 500,000 a throw plus a bit over, 28, 56, 112. So 28 is 1 million, 56 is 2 million, 112 is 4 million. So all told, you're looking at, plus a bit more, so probably 5-6 million. You're looking at, where's the 3.5 gone? A moderate increase with greater capacity for 9 million a train. It's a lot, and the amount of earning that it's going to do me is not significant. You can tell I have a certain amount of reluctance. How old are you? 41 years. Where are you? You are currently heading to. Everything's in the flipping way of the bit that I'm looking at. You're heading towards the. It's like this is like Kismet. It's heading towards the depot. So, I don't think I've got a choice in the matter. I think I have to retire it. Is there a link for you to get to the depot? There is a link for you to get to the depot. Right, well, that settles it then. Well, as soon as you've dropped your precious cargo, we're going to send you up the depot. Get up the depot. Right, Train 5 and Train 6 are now too old, which strikes me as being odd. I can't help but think I've probably got one of these lines set to 25%. Where are we? No, they're both set to 100%, which means I have legitimately got train. It's these moguls. They're incredibly ancient. All right. Well, I've got to make some wholesale replacements here then, which is disappointing. Anyway, we're going to retire this chap here. It is long past overdue. The best of its life. So we're gonna sell it off. I'm gonna take out a whacking great loan and stick a replacement on, which is probably a really terrible idea. There we go. Even acknowledging how terrible the idea is isn't going to stop me doing it. Here we go. Right, let's get 10 million in the bank. Maybe one less carriage so that it goes a bit faster as well. Right. See, we're now in the negotiating stage of this excessive spend. Right, one of those. And we'll do this in its natural colouring to begin with. And we want some wagons. And the 3-axle is perfectly suitable. So that's 28, 56, 84. One more? 98. 98 feels like a good number. Or do we go one more? It won't go as fast. I mean, it's a good train, but it's not, the biggest heavy hauler you've ever come across. So maybe we leave it like that. What's that, 7, is that? Yeah, 7. Yes, because I want to upgrade it against the Flying Scotsman as soon as it's ready. So we'll do just that. We'll pay down the rest of this. No sense in paying interest if we don't have to. Right, off we jolly well go. We'll give it the beans to get it out the door in the first place, and then we'll go and follow it along. Here we go. Well, that's it's quite sporty, isn't it? I mean, that looks quite pleasing. It's always nice to see a black tender with one's name emblazoned on it in incredibly subtle lettering. It might not be the most jazzy font you've ever come across, but I like it. Right, okay, so there we go. This is going to motor. Now, if I recall correctly, it's actually going to take a couple of stops for passengers to get to grips with the thing. But once it's done so, we're going to need to look very carefully at spacing across the rest of the line, because we're now running 2 trains that are, in theory, 10 miles per hour, 16 kilometers per hour slower, these Prussians, than the star of the show, or at least the current star of the show, who, I'm putting on notice is going to be retired pretty quickly. So, don't get too comfortable. Actually, this it's almost a metallic green turquoisey kind of a look there. And actually, while we're following it along, let's abuse this system and look at some of the other colours we could go for. That's quite nice, but then I'm a sucker for a bit of grey. Me, go very pale. Yeah, that's okay, I suppose. Black, meh. Let's get into orange. I mean, it looks great, but it's not subtle. This washed out. That's okay, but it looks ill. Where else? Red. It's very hard to go wrong with red. Yeah, it's Gordon, the big red engine. Or, a bit of blue. I mean, the thing with all of these really vivid colours is they are decidedly vivid once you've got them in place. And the yellow is particularly striking with that regard. Yeah, I think, shall I stop mucking about and do something more practical? We'll go with this turquoise and we'll set it across the line. I want to go and have a quick look across the other side of the Atlantic. I want to go and have a look at the US rail side of things. Now, expansion is on the cards. We need to expand our 2 primary routes, so the US mainline, the North American mainline, and the hold everything. Look at that! Atlanta is trying a hostile takeover of Charlotte. That's fun. Oh, it's going to make for an interesting station. I wonder what I can do station-wise. Interesting. It's going to be expensive, but I think I could probably do something quite interesting with the station. Oh, that's great fun. I love it. No, I've not seen that before. And it's clearly happening because they want to get close to the bus stops. They want to get as close to these transit networks as they can. And also, Port Nelson, if I want the amount of fuel it consumes to go up, I'm going to need to connect it up to some passengers. So, there is that to consider. Also to consider is in 2 and a bit years' time, we get flight. That's going to be exciting. Meanwhile, Edinburgh has got 55 rating. Yes, Tromsø has got 9 waiting, which can only mean it's already picked up. It has picked up and it's got 69 on board. Not brilliant, but it'll do. And obviously, once that's dropped off, the amount delivered should pick up. If we have a look at we're producing 190 here. That's going jolly well. The only weakness we've got right now is that there is perhaps a little too much in store at the truck stop here. Anyway, right, get back to the bit you were going to look at, which is the North American main line. Is this one of the... yeah, here we go. Right, so if we look at the finances on this thing, it's ancient, it's very slow, and yet it's still making the best part of $500,000 profit per year. That's pretty strong stuff. Now, the Mikado just came in, but the Mikado, as you already know, is a goods train first and foremost. So I think we're going to want the Atlantic rather than the Mikado. I need to find a goods line for the Mikado to run, and maybe something with fuel will be the way to do that, because certainly the infrastructure there is set up to support tons and tons of stuff. So the Mikado will do 50 at top whack. The Atlantic will do 62. There's no competition there. It's also pretty cheap. If I'd thought about it, I might have run it. I mean, look at this. 3.5 is 2.5 million. This fella, 1.75 million. Same top speed. And the Atlantic's more flipping powerful. And it costs less to run. Right, and we'll stick some wagons on this that are capable. I don't want to use the heavyweight. We don't need it. 6-axle might be overkill. What about the clerestory? No, it's going to be the 6-axle. Alright, so what's that? That's 36. That's 72. That's what? 80 to 80, 90. I think one more. 90 is a good number. Is there anything faster coming out soon? Almost certainly, but let's do it. Let's put one more on there anyway. Actually, these coaches are pretty flipping expensive at $750,000 a pop. Right, so 6 million and change each. Bargain. Let's borrow some cash and get at least one of them replaced, I suppose. Let's have a look at my vehicles. Now, we've got 2 in play. If I don't set it to 25%, then it should just hit the old ones, which are certainly coming up on, if not already at their lifespan. Let's up the tempo just a smidge so that we can see if this is going to take on train 8. No. How very helpful. What are your finances looking like? Good money. Okay, right, well, you're safe from me for the time being. We're at train 7. And that's coming around to New York. I'd recognise that configuration anywhere, unless it's going to Chicago. Of course, I could have just read the words New York there. That would have, you ready? No. Which means I have to put it on 25%, which means I could end up replacing one of these existing ones. Which would be bad. Okay, let's find one that's near a depot. I've borrowed the money. I might as well flip in and use it. Right, where are you? Who's this? That's an already Atlantic. And to be honest, it's not going that quick. Come on, Mush, open her up. Shovel in some more coal. Give it the works. Get it rolling. See, look, I made $500,000 in one throw. And it does pay off. In a good year, it pays off very nicely. But I'm not interested in you. I'm interested in someone else who's coming out towards Chicago, I guess. Unless I've got another depot at the other end, which, I wouldn't put it past myself. Where are we? Charlotte. Yeah, here we go. Right. Who are you? You're a new one. Okay, fine. You go about your business. Where's the next one on the line? Right about there. Okay, right. So let's. How old are you? 20 years. You are 26 years. Neither of you are exactly old. Where are you going? You're heading towards Toronto. Okay, right. You're my victim. You're going to get retired. Running costs of just about $1 million a year. It's already doing 40% over its base rate, so that's not terrific. It's worth almost $1 million, so that's not so bad. We'll just wait for that to get into the station, and we'll do a replacement on it. Anyway, this is all going to kind of wrap us up here. It's going to be a little while before the first oil services rock in, and we'll pick up at that point. For those of you who didn't know, ships always rock in. That's just a thing they do. So, next time around, what we're going to do is we're going to try and modernise some more of the train industry. It'll probably get us pretty close to the introduction of flight, if not bang on, then, within a few months of it. And that means the rather marvellous introduction of airports, which, for those of you who watched the previous series, will know is going to be, you know, just a barrel of delight when we place that. I'm running out of filler material here, so I'm going to up the tempo. I want to get this replaced and rolling out, and you know, try and fashion some kind of majestic screenshot out of it. Let's just trot on. So we wait. Basically, we wait for the unload. We send it to the depot. That way, we don't burn too many of the passengers that are waiting in Chicago. Go. Obviously, you burn whatever passengers are left on board, but it already gave us the money, so I don't really care. That's that. You know, call me heartless if you will, but you know that's how I roll. Right, pause it. Sell it. Hold on. Have you got the right? No, that's Clerestories on there. Right, sell it. What was that worth? 745,000. Better than a smack in the chops. Right, Atlantic, and then enough passenger space for 100 and change people. I think 108. Is it 108 that we go for? There we are. Bought, paid for, get to work. Am I going to do it a jazzy colour? No, sir. No, I'm not. Right, and that, and this, and that, and this, and that, and go. Thank you very much for watching today. I've been Colonel Failure. Come on there, little friend, out you come. Don't make me push the button to make you come out faster. I'm going to do it. There we are. Yes, you know, I have been Colonel Failure. That thing's accurate. Yeah, please throw a like at it. Please throw a like at this one if you found it mildly diverting and you're on the wrong track. Oh, no, you're not. No, you're not on the wrong track. It's okay. You carry on about your business. Yeah, I wonder if I've got too many coaches on here for this weapon of mass transit. Let's find a good spot to just appreciate. There we go. That's the spot. Get the cursor out of the way. Oh yeah. Oh, if I can't make a good screenshot out of that, I don't know how. I'll just hang up Photoshop forever. Anyway, yeah. Thank you for watching. Chuck a like. Subscribe if you've not done so already, and I'll be back soon with more tantalising propositions of a transport-based nature. And I hope to see you soon. Cheerio.